The U.S. Constitution empowers Congress to organize, arm, and discipline the militia. And the governor of a state usually serves as commander in chief of that state's militia. What can you do as the next governor of Tennessee to help the people organize to make sure that a tyrannical federal government cannot overcome them?
Well, I think one of the very first things is to just speak with authority about what the Constitution says and the rights that God has given us. I really think that may be the most effective thing that the governor can do, is to be willing to say, this is an absolute right. And we're not going to have these silly gun-free zone signs on Tennessee state property and buildings. We're not going to do that. We are not going to press to disarm the citizenry and then pretend that we must call in the National Guard to restore order. An armed citizenry is really the best protection against the predatory criminal. Not only the tyrannical government, but the predatory criminal senses where they can inflict damage upon the people. So I think establishing a culture of not being scared to death of firearms and speaking openly about that being that right to keep and bear arms as being something that comes from Almighty God. Our founders thought that. And being absolute. So I'm an absolutist on those, but I'm an absolutist on your First Amendment rights as well, and your Third and your Fourth Amendment and your Fifth Amendment rights and our collective 10th Amendment rights to assert that the states have authorities that the federal government does not. And so back to your question, how does a governor impact that? First, I think it's with a strong voice. I think it's with an understanding of the Constitution. I think an understanding that the Constitution always leans in a bias of favor toward the rights of the individual over the authorities of government, and that the states formed the central federal government and never intended it to grow into the beast that it is now. And we must be willing to exercise that nullification, which begins with the willingness to say, no, we're not going to do that in Tennessee. And I'm willing to do that. I believe in what we have. I believe in what God has given us. You ask about the red pill. I want my sons, who are in their late 30s, early 40s, I want them to grow old as free men. I want my grandchildren to grow up and old as free men and free women, able to pursue the calling that God puts on their life for the career and what they do and the families they raise. And by the elbow grease that they apply in that liberty, to be able to live prosperous lives.